morning. Welcome to UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. We are a group of spiritual free thinkers who gather to celebrate life, build community, and better our world. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. I'm Carrie Teague, your worship associate for this morning, and today's service will be led by our own Jody Brown. Thank you to everyone on this morning's worship team, including music by Bill Mells and religious education for children 3 and over by Pat and Kaya Mells. If this is your first visit, welcome. We invite you to sign the visitor's book in the entryway, and whether it's your first visit or your 1,000th, we are glad that you came. The service is also being live streamed on our YouTube channel. We will plan on continuing with hybrid worship services, so you can join us each week here in person, on Zoom, later on YouTube. To help us connect better with our friends watching from home, please turn around and give a wave to the camera in the back. And at the end of the service, we will invite our friends at home on Zoom to turn on their cameras and return the wave. I have a few announcements to share with you today. To help make the most of our time together, event details can be found on the printed announcements in the back of the room, which is over to the right back there before you hit the kitchen. And they can also be found in the weekly email. If you have a joy or sorrow to share, please fill out the card on or near your chair. We invite you to bring them forward and place them in the basket after Bill rings the chimes and begins to play. You can also come forward to drop a pebble in the water if you have a joy or sorrow that you prefer not to share. Today, we have our second Sunday potluck after the service. Even if you forgot a dish to share, you're welcome to stay. We always have enough for everyone. It is truly miraculous. We'll also be working on craft projects during and after the meal in preparation for the Regeneration Celebration Sale on May 3rd. As a way to tie together our food-related justice work, we will ask the children for help collecting shelf-stable food items during offering today by picking a wagon and wheeling it around as the offering baskets are passed. We'll organize these donations along with any others brought in throughout the month, and then send them out to food pantries and blessing boxes around the area with volunteers who attend the Justice Table. Friday, April 17th, and every third Friday of every month, we will be hosting Justice Table, a community potluck from 6 to 8 p.m. Children are welcome, and this month we'll be working on upcycled arts and crafts projects along with our other ongoing projects. Contact Danielle Lyon with any questions, and she is in the back. Our next date for Adopt a Highway Cleanup is Sunday, April 26th. We'll have maps designating 6 different sections for you to choose from: safety vests and helmets, gloves, bags, and the little reach-a-grabber doohickeys. The Social and Environmental Justice Committee has decided to sponsor this year's FLX Pride at the yellow level by making a donation in the $501 to $1,000 range. If you would like to contribute as an individual to this sponsorship, please let Laura Wink or Jeff Gretton know. Both are here today. I have one more announcement, and it was about the designated closer. We're having issues with getting people to sign up, and then we keep asking the same people to do it over and over again. So there are about 12 people total who have volunteered to be designated closer over the past 6 months since we kind of started this project. It's worked well. As you've noticed, the church is a lot cleaner and safer, more organized, so that part is great. But I made up a tentative rotating schedule for the folks who have signed up. Some of you I've talked to already. It is negotiable, right? It's just a starting point. But basically, you'd be, if you've been a designated closer before, you'd be assigned either an even month or an odd month, and then one of the 5 or 6 worships times that the church is being used is kind of set in the book. So it's the 4 Sundays, occasionally a 5th Sunday, and then Justice Table. Trying to get the folks that are on the social environmental justice team and the folks that tend to attend the Justice Table having those slots. So I've talked to many of you, but I'll talk to the rest of you afterwards and make sure that the week that I kind of pick for you will work. And again, it's all negotiable, just trying to make sure we get those plugged in. And then you can always switch it around if that week is not going to work for you. So any other announcements for the good of the community?
Good morning. Today was our target day for finishing the pledge drive, and as I've said before, we never actually finish on the target day. So don't feel like you've missed, your chance. We're always welcoming more pledges. You can see back on our pledge-o-meter back there that we've made great progress. We're up to about $70,000 of our goal of $80,000, and I've talked to Jeff, and he says we're fine, even if we don't reach that goal. It's understandable. We had a change in ministers, and some people left, and other people have come, and we're doing fine. So thank you very much for all your work, not only your money, but all your time and talent as well. And if you want to still give a pledge, or if you want to increase your pledge, you're always welcome. Thank you.
As we prepare to be fully together, I remind you to silence your phone or device. We now enter a space of worship. Now is the time to bring forward any joys or sorrows, or come up and drop a pebble. Now it's time for chalice lighting, but I failed to ask somebody to help me. So, Maria, would you like to come light the chalice? Oh, we've got Paolo too. We got a double whammy. All right. So we're using this now. So like, we gather this hour as people of faith with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. Thank you. Like this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, and celebration of the life we share together.
Before I read our opening words this morning, I'd like to share on a personal note, because I'm wearing this stole and you might have questions about it. I am a ULC ordained minister. For those of you who are not familiar with the Universal Life Church, that's the website where you go and they say, do you want to be ordained? And you say yes, and then they say, then click this button, and you're ordained. Now, there was a minister at Auburn, and I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, that it's just a one-and-done ordination where you go because you want to be able to do a wedding for your friend. But I don't feel that way about my ordination. I have been in the pulpit since 1999. My women's studies degree has a major in women's spirituality. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about that. It's now gone. Since I've been doing weddings since 2016, and I've done over 60 weddings in the last 10 years. So I do take this ordination very seriously, even though I am not a UUA fellowshipped minister. And in January, I was at a protest, and I saw a woman wearing this stole. Sorry, people. And I fell in love with it. And I asked her where she got it. And boy, stoles are pricey, but this is only the second time I've worn it, so I just wanted to share that with you. So now, our opening words are from Monica Jacobson Tennyson. What is it that calls you here, that calls you onward, that calls you inward, that leads you homeward? What is it that gives you the power to make the change, to ask the question, to take that journey. What is it that says you have done well, that asks you to learn more, that brings you to stillness, that holds you up in hard times? It is a relationship that the beating heart of our faith. It begins when we share this hour, our truths, this air, our hearts. Come, let us worship together. And now our opening hymn in the teal hymnal, Where Do We Come From? Number 1003, not 10,000, 1003.
Rise as you're willing and able, and as you get to that page 1003, you'll see there are 4 parts. It is a big round, but I think we'll save that for another day when we know the song a little better. So for today, we'll sing all 4 parts, and we'll repeat each line as it says. However, if you are so moved and you want to go ahead and start singing the same line over and over and over, you should do that because it will sound very mysterious and meditative and wonderful altogether. But please rise as you're willing and able. I'll play through each line once. This is the first line. Now this is the second line. And this is the third line. And this is the fourth line. So let's start at the beginning. We'll sing each line twice. And we'll do the whole thing at least twice. Here we go. Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? So great, we should go back to the beginning one more time. Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from?
I do have a story this morning. I don't have any pictures, though, so you can hear it just as, if you want to come up, you're welcome to, but you can hear it just as well from there. Whatever you want to do. This is called The Stone Cutter, and it's based on a wisdom tale of Japanese origin. Once upon a time, there was a stone cutter. He spent his life cutting up rocks for use in this and that and the other. He liked his work. He was a happy man. At least he thought he was. Until one day, he was cutting stone for the house of a rich family. "Wow," said the stone cutter. "Look at that palace. That's for me. I want to be a fat cat and have a house like that and be happy." He sighed a deep, unhappy sigh. Suddenly, a mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want. That's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." "This is the life," said the rich man, who was once a stone cutter, as he looked out from his mansion. "How could life get better than this?" But one day he had an answer. Out walking in the hot sun, he saw a prince ride by in a royal carriage. "Cool," said the rich man. "It's miserable out here in the sun, but I could be happy in that." A mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want. That's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." But the carriage was not all that cool, found the prince, who was once a stone cutter and a rich man. The sun still burned his face from time to time. "I know the fix for that," said the prince. "I want to be the sun so I can do the burning." A mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want. That's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." "Hot stuff," said the sun, who was once a stone cutter and a rich man and a prince, and he smiled a great big smile until a cloud came along and blotted him out. "Hey," he said, "the cloud has a more interesting life than the sun. Look at it, bouncing around in the sky, raining and snowing whenever it likes. I want to be a cloud." A mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want, that's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." "This is the life," said the cloud, who was once a stone cutter, a rich man, a prince, and the sun. "I guess I'll go cause a flood," which he did. Rivers overflowed and crops disappeared, but stones did not. Stones stayed right where they were. "The stone is stronger than I am," cried the cloud. "I want to be a stone." Anybody see where this is going? A mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want. That's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." "At last," said the stone, who was once a stone cutter, a rich man, a prince, the sun, and a cloud. "I'm the mightiest thing on earth. Nothing can destroy me." Then, wham! And wham again. "Oh no," said the stone, who was once a stone cutter, a rich man, a prince, the sun, and a cloud. "I am under attack by a man with a chisel. He is mightier than the stone. I want to be him." A mighty voice, I can't read it with a straight face, I'm sorry. A mighty voice thundered through the air. "That's what you want, that's what you get," it said. "So shall it be." And so it was. The man, who was once a stone cutter and a rich man and a prince and the sun and a cloud and a stone, was a stone cutter again. And happy again. So happy, in fact, he never wished to be anything other than what he was. Are we sending children down today? Oh, that's you?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh, offering first, okay.
Now is the time in our service to join together in the spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts of both time and money support our church in its work. Each week we'd like to spotlight a group or committee and thank them for their gift of time, and this week that group is religious education. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can contact Pat Mouse. 1/4 of our plate collection for the muddy season will go to our service partner, Friends of Ganondagan. They work to honor and promote Haudenosaunee history and culture and to strengthen traditions through inspirational and transformational programming and other activities at Ganondagan, an internationally recognized resource for Iroquois history, culture, and living traditions that express universal ideals of peace, cooperation, and respect for one another and the natural world. You can give to this morning's offering by placing cash or a check in the basket or by one of the options on the screen. Please make a note that your gift is intended for today's offering. We will now gratefully accept the offering.
Anybody want a wagon?
Oh, yeah. We connect with each other in this congregation by sharing what's in our hearts, both joys and sorrows. And unfortunately, this morning we have two big sorrows. We're dropping a healing pebble in for Drew this morning, who had to have emergency eye surgery. And Linda Sorensen. I'm so sorry, Linda. Her 28-year-old daughter, Elena, died of cancer on March 18th. And I'm going to drop a pebble in for that one. And as I do, let's all say, we are with you. And at this time, if there are any children that would like to go down to religious education, please go downstairs with Kaya and Pat Mouse. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of all surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
Today, our meditation will be musical. I invite you to remain seated and make yourself comfortable. How many of you are familiar with hymn number 1009, Meditation on Breathing? Anybody? I know Bill has introduced it before. Oh, a couple. All right. Well, there are 3 parts, and I encourage everyone to select whichever part you are comfortable with. The drone part, which Bill will be leading, goes like this.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
The desk camp part, which Danielle will be leading, goes like this.
When I breathe in, I
Oh, that's good. And the melody, which I will be leading, goes like this. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. All right, so everybody picked a part? Everybody knows what they're going to be singing. Okay, beautiful. So the drones will come in first and sing it through 2 times like Bill just did. After that, the melody folks will come in. I'll be leading that. We're going to go through that once. And then after that, the desk camp part will come in. And then we're just going to sing it for a while, get into that meditative place, and then eventually Danielle will drop out, the desk camp folks will drop out, and then the melody folks will drop out, and then the last but not least, the drones will drop out. Everybody got it? All righty, here we go. So, Bill, come on up.
breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. I hope that has put you in a meditative state of mind. It's one of my favorite hymns. So before I actually start the reflection, I have a reading by Nathan C. Walker. What happens when we stop living? The question is not, what happens when we die? Nobody really knows. The real question is, what happens when we stop living? The stoicism we face on a daily basis is a symptom of a larger illness called a dually dulled life. Our lives can be hypnotized by the monotonous commutes, multiplied by the flickering fluorescent light that falls upon the micromanaging boss who thinks everything you do in your cubicle is an extension of his or her power. Who here is dying a slow and numbing death? There's no time to be lulled by monotony. There is no time to be blaming other people for our own feelings. If you don't like it, change it. There's no time for crying or complaining or gossiping or clinging to that fashionable grudge bag. No, it is time to wake up, to rise up, and to carry ourselves into a day worth living. Let us live one day, this day, with passion and a sense of collective synergy. Let us live one day, this day, by asking questions that truly challenge us and make us feel alive. For today's question is not, what happens when we die? It is, what happens when we stop living? So the title of my reflection this morning is called Afflicting the Comfortable. And the inspiration for this came from our meeting with the UUA regional reps back in February. How many people were at that meeting? Oh, okay, some of you. They asked a lot of questions, and as I recall, brought up the quote that religion should comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. I thought this might be an interesting topic to pursue, and I want to ask a lot of questions of you while doing this, which directly relates to our fourth principle, the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. Now, obviously, I am not the first person to come up with this idea. So in doing the research, I found several other sermons written by other folks on this very topic. Here they are. I got 4 of them here. And that's what I draw from today. But before we get to those in my research, I also discovered a 6th grade Tapestry of Faith RE program titled Riddle and Mystery. You probably can't see it from there, but that's the cover of the photo of the curriculum. It's a 16-unit course, and in each session, they ask the big question. I'd like to read the list of questions from this curriculum. And I'd also like you to keep in mind that they're asking 6th graders these questions. 1, where do we come from? 2, what are we? 3, where are we going? Sound familiar? Number 4, does God exist? Number 5, how did life begin? Number 6, what happens when we die? 7, why do bad things happen? 8, is life fair? Number 9, how can I tell right from wrong? 10, what is truth? 11, how am I connected with everything else? Number 12, what should I do with my life? I'm still asking myself that question. I'm 73. 13, do I have a soul? 14, can we ever solve life's mystery? 15, how can I know what to believe? And 16, what does Unitarian Universalism mean to me? If we ever do this as an RE curriculum, I want to be there. I think this would be a fascinating. I don't have this in my sermon, but how many of you, who's familiar with the Building Your Own Theology curriculum for adults? Anybody? A couple of you, yeah. I took that years ago, and it was the same kind of thing, asking these questions and filling out finding out what's appropriate for your own beliefs. Again, back to our responsible search for truth and meaning. Okay, well, next, I would like to read from a sermon titled A More Beautiful Question by Ted Zorn on July 7th of 2024 at the Auckland Unitarian Church. I did not research that, but I'm assuming Auckland is in New Zealand. I didn't know they had Unitarians in New Zealand. That's nice to know. He says, I want to make 3 points about questioning in my talk today. First, questioning is an important part of who we are as Unitarians, and it is a part of our identity and tradition that we should embrace. Second, questioning implies uncertainty, and both questioning and uncertainty can make us and those around us uncomfortable. Third, all questions are not created equal. Some are more beautiful than others. To the first point, he says, Unitarianism and Universalism, long before they merged, were movements driven by questions that challenged the religious norm of their times. Unitarians emerged during the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century and dared to ask if the doctrine of the Trinity was scriptural. Universalism arose from a different question. Could a loving God truly condemn souls to eternal damnation? What unites these two streams of our heritage is the courage to ask the hard questions. That questioning spirit continues today and is in stark contrast to the dogma embraced by most contemporary religions. To his second point, he makes this comment. Our rejection of dogma and our fourth and fifth principles, which emphasize that we value a free and responsible search for truth and meaning and the right of conscience, mean that we reject simple answers and embrace uncertainty. But uncertainty makes us uncomfortable, and some people more uncomfortable than others. So sometimes, this is the end of the quote there. This is my. So sometimes just asking the questions can make us or others uncomfortable. He goes on to his third point saying, some questions are harmful and destructive. Consider the difference between these two questions. What can we do to make sure everyone in our community feels safe and valued? Versus, why do some people always cause trouble? The first question opens up possibilities for understanding and inclusivity, while the second implies blame and judgment. I have to admit, I had not thought about it quite like that before, although it does remind me of how I phrase my questions to my husband when he has done something differently than the way I would do it. Previously, I would have a very accusatory tone to my voice, blame and judgment much. But I have learned to be more compassionate and forgiving, hopefully opening up that door to understanding and inclusivity. We made a joke about it for a while when he responded humorously one time, "I'm trying to be more like you." I started catching myself when I was asking him a question that wasn't quite in that inclusive and compassionate vein. And so I would say as a joke, "Why can't you be more like me?" And it's still our standing joke. So Zorn goes on to say, but let's look at what is possible. Let's look at beautiful questions. What makes your heart sing? What makes you feel most alive? What makes you feel at peace? What does a perfect day look like for you? What would you regret not doing in your life? What are you willing to fight for? To me, these are beautiful questions. He continues, Warren Berger said, a beautiful question is one that challenges assumptions, opens up new avenues of thought, and leads to discovery. A beautiful question is one that, by its very nature, invites deeper engagement and reflection. End quote. In a world that often values quick answers and simple solutions, a beautiful question serves to stimulate deeper understanding, reflection, and wisdom. As Berger put it, a beautiful question is an ambitious yet actionable question that can begin to shift the way we perceive or think about something, and that might serve as a catalyst to bring about change. Furthermore, he adds, think about some of the most significant moments in history. Many of them began with the question, what if? Why not? How might we? Is it possible? These questions have propelled humanity forward, leading to scientific breakthroughs, social reforms, and personal transformations. They invite us to imagine new possibilities and to consider perspectives beyond our own. The late Robert F. Kennedy, paraphrasing George Bernard Shaw, described a beautiful question when he said, "Some men see things and ask, why? I dream things that never were and ask, why not?" I have a friend, Jennifer Sutton, whose business name is What If Wellness. She believes in asking the beautiful question. She also believes that by asking the beautiful question, you open yourself up to infinite possibilities. Jennifer is an EFT practitioner, also known as tapping. How many of you are familiar with tapping? Some of you, okay. It's a technique where you tap on different acupuncture points, and it's supposed to retrain your brain to release old, no longer serve you beliefs and reframe them into ones that lead you to your highest good. She uses the what if question in her tapping sessions, again, to open you up to new possibilities. Zorn closes with this thought: asking beautiful questions about religion and spirituality, as well as what we want for our communities, our relationships, and ourselves, is worth doing. It's our tradition, and we should embrace it. Now I would like to share a few words from Reverend Jane Thixton of the UU Church of North Hills in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, from her sermon titled Search for Truth and Meaning. She starts with her own personal journey to Unitarian Universalism by saying, "A friend at work told me about the Unitarian Church in town, and when I went there, it felt like home." How many of you have had that? Yeah, oh, not okay. I will add that is exactly how I felt the first Sunday I attended May Memorial in Syracuse in 1985. The minister was talking about God. I don't know if any of you ever knew Nick Cardell, and he said, "She," and I was like, oh my God, I'm home. Oh. She goes on to say, "It is usually the theological freedom that attracts us. As trite as it sounds, we are indeed seeking some meaning in our lives, to life itself. But we don't just find meaning, we create it. It is an ongoing process, one that never ends. The search is the important thing, not the finding. Seeking ways to live in the world with integrity, this is what is required of us by our fourth principle." She adds, "One theme that comes up again and again is that the search ultimately leads home." She gives two examples of this. The first is the story of a young man who leaves home on a search for truth and returns years later not having found it, only to discover that it was waiting for him at home after all these years. The second is the story of Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz. I believe we all know that one, right? No place like home. Thixton says the journey leads us home because the divine is within us. Later in the sermon, she states, "We place so much emphasis on the value and authority of the individual. This needs to be balanced by the recognition that we are not alone. We are on this search together." I think that's why we do our small circles here in this congregation and in other UU congregations. Thixton ends with, "May your search bring you challenges and companions along the way, and may your ideas of truth and meaning constantly evolve." Continuing in that vein, I have a quote from Adam Slate from the UU Church of Hot Springs from October 18th, 2015, where he states, "The benefit to us isn't figuring out the answers as much as experiencing the exploration together." He concludes his talk with these words, "Unitarian Universalism provides a place to practice the fourth principle in an environment of support and acceptance. Our fourth principle sets up a framework that inspires us, that requires us to find each other, to listen to each other, and to work to understand one another. It's one of the great gifts that our denomination brings to the world. We commit to a free and responsible search for truth and meaning before we even know what we'll find. That takes bravery and compassion, and so we do it with bravery and compassion. Therefore, let us bravely and compassionately continue to live that principle and to share it with a world that may be secretly yearning for it. Lastly, I would like to share with you some words from David Cycleback, who is not a UU but has a PhD in religion, with his dissertation in the neuroscience of belief systems. In his paper, The Self-Righteousness Problem in Unitarian Universalism, he states that while UUism champions the principle of a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, in practice, this principle is often applied selectively. Those who express alternative opinions on complex social issues may find themselves ostracized rather than engaged in open dialogue. He ends with, this foundational UU principle must be applied consistently across all areas of life, not just those that align with progressive activism. Congregations should create spaces where difficult conversations can happen without fear of judgment or exclusion. Personally, I believe we can do this by asking the beautiful questions, as Ted Zorn so eloquently stated. I would like to leave you with those questions from the Riddle and Mystery program. I've made copies. Oh, now I gotta find it. Don't know what I do with it. There it is. I've made copies of this if anybody would like one. They're on the back table over on the left under the name tags if you want. Number 1, where do we come from? Number 2, what are we? Number 3, where are we going? 4, does God exist? 5, how did life begin? 6, what happens when we die? 7, why do bad things happen? 8, is life fair? 9, how can I tell right from wrong? 10, what is truth? 11, how am I connected with everything else? 12, what should I do with my life? That's still my favorite question. 13, do I have a soul? 14, can we ever solve life's mystery? 15, how can I know what to believe? And 16, what does Unitarian Universalism mean to me? Our closing words this morning are by John W. Brigham. Go your ways, knowing not the answers to all things, yet seeking always the answer to one more thing than you know. Our closing hymn this morning is As Tranquil Streams, number 145 in the gray hymnal. Please rise in body or spirit.
As tranquil streams that meet and merge and flow as one to seek the sea, our kindred hearts and minds unite to build a church that shall be free, free from the bonds that bind the mind to narrow thought and lifeless creed, free from a social code that fails to serve the cause of human need, a freedom that reveals the past, but never and is the soul in search of truth.
If you are with us today on Zoom and would like to wave goodbye at the end of the service, you can turn on your camera now. Please join me in our words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not
Truth.
the warmth of community or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.